today I want to share with you how to close a lease transaction. First of all, I want to share with you the two experiences that I had recently. One had to do with a property in Irvine, and the other one is in, and thank you for that thumbs up. The other one is in Placencia. As you know, some of you may have noticed the last time when I did a live stream, there was a call that came in from a prospect that wanted to lease a place in Placencia. So eventually I hooked up with the prospect, showed them the property. There were 6 students that were interested in renting a rather big house, and it's $3,500 in rent. So I can share with you these 2 examples today. Okay. Now, let's see here. Okay, so what I did was I showed them the property. They were interested. We submitted our rental application, and then we negotiated a lease. Let me take you through my rental application package folder. That way you can see what's in that folder, okay? All right. It is in this folder right here. And now this is the one in, oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to show you the one in Irvine first. So this is the Irvine folder. As you can see in the folder, there are quite a number of documents. I apologize if I didn't go to the right screen. I need to make sure that I need to take you to the right scene. Okay, go here, get the landlord to write them reference letter. So one tip of advice to you, to make your closing smoother in the beginning when you first got to know the tenants, you want to talk about things like that. You know, have them be ready. Because if they are not ready, they will kick themselves when they found something that they like and the rental application is not complete and they get rejected by the landlord. So it is important for the tenants to be ready. So in this case, we did not have the reference letters and we tried to get it from the landlord. Nobody could give it to us. Okay, so one substitute for that will be for them to look at the payment history. Okay, so what we did was we got the payment history and it showed that they were paying on time. So the landlord reference letter is good because sometimes the landlord reference letter will express the intangible. For example, what kind of personality the tenant is. Will the landlord continue to rent to this tenant? So get those reference letters as soon as possible. You can get 2 or more if they have lived at more than one place, but at least get the most recent ones. Okay. All right. So after they did the reference check, they approved. Of course, my tenant client, they were so happy. When they saw that it was approved, they was like, okay, almost in tears. They really like this place. Okay, so what I'm saying is that have your tenants be as ready as possible. That way they are not missing out on the right property. I'll give you a very good example. Another example, that example has nothing to do with the 2 transactions that I just closed. That one there, the tenants contacted me from New York. She wanted somebody to FaceTime with her because she's in New York. She can't be here physically to see the place. So what I did was I showed up at the first choice and I took her through the entire property using my iPhone. And she fell in love with the place, but unfortunately, she wasn't ready. So by the time it took us to put together the rental application, someone else got the apartment. That was like a perfect apartment for her. So as you can see, it's pretty frustrating whenever you have something that you like and you can't have it. So right now we're still struggling. Okay, we're still struggling to find the right property. So when the right one comes along, you need to be 100% ready, okay, and not miss the opportunity. So now let's go into my Gmail and look for the documents that the landlord sent to us. Everything was done by DocuSign. Let me make sure I take you to the right screen, okay? You have to be at the right screen in order to see what I'm seeing on the screen. So we're on the right screen right now. So the listing agent decided to do it by what you call the DocuSign. So everybody did it by DocuSign, so that was very efficiently done. Among the documents that he sent me was the residential lease agreement, addendum number 1. Pool, hot tub, and spa addendum. I don't think we have any pool, hot tub, or spa, but he gave me the addendum, but we signed it anyway. The next possible addendum is key safe lockbox addendum and tenant permission for exile. Now this has to do with protection of the landlord, because before the lease ends, the landlord wants to have the ability to show the property to a prospective tenant. Sometimes it may be important to install key safe or lock boxes. So you have the tenant sign this addendum, and the best time for them to sign this is actually before the lease begins. Try doing this while the lease has started. It's very difficult to get the tenant signature on this. So if you're the listing agent, you want to get this form in front of the tenant when they're about to, when the emotion is really, really high. They love the place, they want to rent the place, they'll sign anything you put in front of them. Okay. And then they also have the mold and ventilation addendum. Now this is pretty standard. This is basically to advise the tenant that if they don't keep the property in dry condition, for example, if they don't turn on the fan when they shower, or if the exhaust fan is not working in the kitchen, or if it's not working in the bathroom, it's going to cause mold to grow. So that's an important addendum that you want the tenant to sign. The next one is called the water heater and smoke detector statement of compliance. So they need to make sure that, as a landlord, they need to make sure that the water heater is properly strapped, and also the smoke detector or smoke alarm, fire alarm, not fire, but carbon monoxide detector, they have to be properly installed. Okay. Water conservation, plumbing fixtures, and carbon monoxide detection notice. This is just standard disclosure thing. No, with the new laws that were passed, landlords are required by law to have installed water conserving plumbing fixtures. So that's just a disclosure that they make to the tenant. Okay. Earthquake safety booklet. Frankly, though, I don't think it's absolutely necessary for a new building like this. Okay. But since they gave it to us, so we just kind of signed that. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so we signed it. Lastly is the move in and move out. As a listing agent, this is extremely important. Well, actually, this is also important to the tenants, because the parties need to be in agreement about the conditions of the property when they first move in, so that at the time that they move out, if there's a dispute about who's responsible for the repairs, you can always go back to the move-in inspection form and see what the conditions were at the time the tenant moved in. So I think it is leaning toward more for landlord protection It could be for tenants protection if it's a landlord that is not very responsible when it comes to making repairs. But if you have a landlord who is very responsible in making repairs, it's actually more for the landlord's protection. All right. So these are the forms that were sent to us. So as I went through the form, I noticed that there were a few conditions that I thought might not be very legal. So I thought I needed to bring that to the attention of my tenant clients. What are those? I'll just briefly tell you. One of them is the late charge. Their late charge is very high. They're charging like 10% late charge. 10% late charge is like $450. Any late charge over $200 is quite likely to be unenforceable or illegal. Because the purpose of the late charge is to compensate the landlord and not to penalize the tenant for paying late. So if you have anything over $200, you need to be able to justify in court, because when you try to do a late charge on the tenant, thank you, LG. I don't know who you are, but I appreciate it. I appreciate whatever feedback that you gave me. Okay. Now, so the late charge, I did point out to my tenant clients, even though they are in love with the place so much, it's your duty as their agent to advise them, because they are the one who's going to have to pay the late charge if they are late. Now, I pointed out to them, but at the same time, I know how much they are in love with the property. So I explained to them that if they are doing auto pay, the late charge, even though it's excessive, is not really legal. It would not really happen because they do it by auto pay. So it turns out to be a non-issue, but as an agent, I still have to point it out to them. Okay. The second thing that I was concerned about have to do with certain type of repairs that the landlord wanted the tenant to make that are really by law required of the landlord to make. For example, anything that has to do with habitability of the property, such as leaks, such as pest control. Pest control normally is the landlord's responsibility, unless it's the tenant that caused it. Now, in this particular proposed lease, they wanted the tenant to be responsible for pest control, regardless of whose fault it is. So I think in that sense, it could be unenforceable. So I still pointed it out to the tenants. Now, of course, this is a newer building. I think this one was built very recently. It's almost like 2018 or 2017. So it's a very new building. So pest control is really not a big deal, but you still have to point it out to the tenant. So it's your job as an agent to go through the lease agreement. Now, if you want to know, if you have never seen a model lease agreements that protect the landlord so much, this one is something that I will share with you guys privately. It is a very thorough lease agreement that has all kinds of provisions in there that protects the landlord. The listing agent did a very, very good job. So if you're the listing agent, you might want to use it as a reference or model, because it does have a lot of protections in there. The only comments I have on this one that I thought are not legal is just the late charge as well as the pest control obligation. On that, it's pretty legal. In many aspects, it protects the landlord, especially when you have a newer building. You want a lease agreement that looks like this, because you want to preserve the conditions of the newer building, So, and the agent is very professional. He did everything by the book. He did everything he was supposed to do as a listing agent. He screened my tenant. He looked at their credit report. And but fortunate for us, it worked out, because it is pretty competitive. Okay. All right. So you are done with this. So you're given your advice to your prospective tenants. So when I give advice to my tenants because of the pandemic, I actually got them, both of them, over the phone, and we kind of talk on the phone, advise them about, all the different terms and conditions. You have to advise them on when they can pick up the keys. This particular one actually closed on September 4th, so I got 14 days to submit my closing documents to Op City by the terms of our referral agreement. Just remember, it's 14 days, 4 plus 14, so until the 18th. So if I do it today, I still be on time. Okay, but you should do it as soon as possible. Don't wait until today. The reason why I waited until today is so that I can teach you guys how to do it. Okay, so now many agents actually require that you give them Centermac's W-9. So make sure you give them the W-9. So instead of waiting for them, you can actually send the W-9 by email to them. If you don't have access to the W-9, talk to Lisa about it. Okay, Lisa has it, and she would be able to tell you how to access our W-9. Now we have Centermac International, Centermac Global, Centermac SD, and Centermac Realty. So make sure you get the right W-9 to the listing agent. Once the listing agent receives the W-9, they will issue the check to the company. Once the check is received, we have to pay Op City their referral fee. Remember, we're getting some free leads from Op City. However, if we close this deal, we're supposed to pay them referral fee. Now, the referral fee for these transactions is 38%. For other transactions is 35%. Okay. The reason they charge a higher percentage on the lease transaction, because for lease transactions, the transaction amount is so small, so they have to cover their overhead. And generally speaking, I'm pretty impressed with Op City because they are very professional. They're very prompt on everything. So it's been a great pleasure working with Op City, to be honest with you. All right. So next, so this is all signed. Now, once this is all signed, right, all of these documents that has your signatures, your tenant signatures, as well as the landlord and the listing agent. In other words, these are fully executed. Where are you supposed to save your fully executed document? You're supposed to save the fully executed documents in SkySlope. Today, we're not going to train you on how to use SkySlope. There isn't any time for that, but I just want to let you know that is actually a separate training. Now, the persons that are good with using SkySlope in our company is Lisa Chen. So Lisa is actually a better person to learn SkySlope from. Okay, got that? Okay, awesome. So for me anyway, for right now, I'm going to temporarily see if I can save it in my Google Drive. Right here. And Monica Alatorre. Okay. And then I put move here. Move. 9 files. Let me count. It said 9 files uploaded, right? So with one click of a button, I can actually upload all 9 files into my Google Drive. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So altogether, 9 files have been added. Now, what does Op City need you to do? Once you have closed a deal, you don't have to wait until you receive your commission check. You can actually go through their checklist and give them whatever they need. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to prepare the email. And then I'm going to open up this instruction page. It's called How Do I Submit Closing Documents? Okay, I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to paste it in comments or chat so you have it. You can actually save it in your computer. Copy, and so next time when you need to use it, you can actually refer to it. Okay. Now it says here, please email all documentation to docs@obcity.com. All right, let me make sure you're on a page where you can actually see me. Yes, you are. Okay. So I just started the email. I just need to make sure I send it to this email address. So I'm going to copy the email address. Okay. Paste right here. And then they want to reference the transaction ID. So on your subject line. Now, how do you get your transaction ID? I want to show you something here. So you know where to look for the transaction ID. All right. Let's go to this page right here. Look at my camera. I want to show you the transaction ID. See my screen? Now this is the transaction ID that I'm showing you, right? So if you're in the Obcity app, once you have gone through the process of closing, you'll be able to see the transaction ID. So you basically just type in the transaction ID in the subject line. Okay? All right? Okay, let me go ahead and finish up the email so you can see how I do it. Transaction ID, I'm just going to type it in. DA 868, okay? 624. All right, I got the transaction ID. Follow the instruction. That's what the instruction says, right? Let's see what the instruction says. It says submit closing document in PDF format, include transaction ID in the subject line, which is what I did. CC the closing agent. Now the closing agent is actually whoever that closed the deal. Now if it's my own deal, I will copy myself on this one. If it's Nick Cheng's deal, then Nick Cheng can either submit the documents. Actually, I'm going to require that if you are the closing agent, you want to submit the documents yourself. Okay, and then just copy yourself and satisfy number 1, 2, and 3, right? So what do you need in terms of closing documents? They did not explain it here, but I'll tell you what they need for closing documents. Closing documents are documents that actually show them how the commission is computed. Now, how do you show them how the commission is computed? You start with the MLS. So what I did was, let me see if I can find the MLS that I downloaded. If I can, that'll be great. Now this one says 139 masterpiece. Let's see if this is the one. So this is the MLS that I downloaded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this one, okay? Let me come back here. And one of the documents I'm going to attach is the MLS, right? So I come back here, I type 139 and look for the document. It's this document right here, right? So I attach the MLS. So to prove the commission, there's something else you need to attach in addition to the MLS. You need to submit the lease agreements. So what do I need to do? I need to go inside my attached file and how about I do this? I said there are two ways to do this. You can either give them a Google. I think it might be better just to give them the Google Drive link. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to upload the MLS to my folder. So I'm going to go new, file upload, and it's going to say 139 masterpiece, right? So this document is then uploaded to my Google Drive. The benefit of uploading it to my Google Drive is I can give them the link to just two specific documents. First link that I give them is the MLS documents. So I'm going to go inside the document here, and I'm going to, let's see here, look for that the document that I just uploaded. Okay. Give me just one moment. I know I just uploaded the MLS. I just need to look for it. Okay. Here, right here. So I click on this document, I can give him the link, right? So I put share here so they have like the link. But let's see here. So, and then you can say below is the link to the MLS showing the commission percentage or amount. Or you can say, and then you can put the link right here so they can have the link, right? Do it however you want to do it, but this is what I prefer to do. So I just give him the link. Okay, so the link did not appear. I'll try that again. Okay, I go back here, right? So I say copy link right here, copy the link. So I'm gonna paste the link right here. And then say below is the link to the lease agreement, right? And then I'm going to give them the link to the lease agreement. So, and let me see what the lease agreement is. So this is the lease agreement. So I'm just going to click this and give them the link. Get shareable link. Okay. So copy link, done. So they got the MLS that showed the percentage of the commission, and then they got the lease agreement. The purpose of the lease agreement is to show them the rent amount, because without the actual rent amount, there may be doubt about how much the total rent is. Remember, if the commission is dependent on the total first year's rent amount, obviously the lease agreement is relevant. But if it's just one flat fee, then the lease agreement is really not that relevant. For example, if they give you a flat fee of $450, it doesn't matter what the lease amount is. It's still $450, okay? And then I'm going to say, well, okay, thank you for your attention. for this matter. Please let me know if you receive all the closing documents. If there is anything that is missing, please let me know. Right? So I did everything that they asked me. I gave them the closing docs. I referenced the transaction ID. Of course, I can always CC myself. I'm the closing agent, right? So I copy myself on this one. But really, whether you copy yourself or not, it's just a formality. It's not really. So I did the 3 steps that they asked me to do, right? So, and once they received it, then we can go ahead and send them their referral fees, okay? And that's another step. Their referral fee is to be handled by admin. You don't have to be worried about that. Your job is just to submit the closing documents to them on time, okay? So I have prepared the email. Everything's done correctly. So now is the time to click send. So that is sent to them. Okay, that's sent. All right. Now, if they have any issue, of course, they'll call me, right? So this is one example that I show you about how to close a deal, a lease transaction. So your job is to proceed until this point. And then after that, you just wait to receive your commission check from the company. Okay? That's it for today's training. I appreciate your attendance today. I hope that you have learned something today and be able to apply it to your opportunities. Now, I think for new people, small transactions like this is actually very, very good for you because it helps you build some credentials. Now, for Op City, you need to complete 3 deals before you can get some really good quality leads. I have completed 2, so I need 1 more. So let's see what kind of leads I get after the 3rd one, okay? I really look forward to it. And I hope the same for you. For the new agents that are hoping to get some experience quickly, this is really a good opportunity because you'll be able to immediately start interacting with prospective these buyers or tenants. Now, I have decided to change my referral preferences to just receiving buyers leads now because I have less than 3 transactions closed. The buyers leads that I get are lands and mobile homes, which is fine because you know why? Lands are mobile homes. Even the mobile home deal, even if the agent only pay you 2.5%, and you get a $100,000 mobile home, that's $2,500, and that's still pretty good. Okay, so for new agents, to be able to get now. I'm back in LA, so I'm getting referrals for mobile homes and vacant land. Yesterday, I had 3 opportunities to get leads. I actually was quick enough. In LA, you have to be very, very quick. As soon as it comes in, you have to immediately click claim, or else someone else would have claimed before you. And the trick to do this, if you really, really want to be faster than anybody else, is to set your phone to the perfect page where you basically, there's only one step you need to do is to click. If it takes you like 2 or 3 steps just to get to that page to click, then I'm sorry, you're too late because it's either going to be me. Of course, I don't do this often. Eventually, I'm just doing this just to gain some experience so I can share with you my experience. But eventually, I'm going to go for bigger things. This is minor stuff for me, okay? But I just want to show you as new agents, this is the kind of opportunities you can get at the moment, especially during the pandemic. There are still buyers that are looking for properties to buy, all kinds of properties, vacant land or mobile home and things like that. And something else I want to show it to you. Now it's good to use the Opcity app because it has a built-in CRM. I just want to demonstrate to you. It is very important that you connect with them right away. Now, as soon as you hang up, if you don't send a text message to the prospect, Opcity's app will send one on your behalf. They will send one to you. And it's going to sound or look like you are the one sending it, but it's really not you. It's just the computer sending it on your behalf. And sometimes you will have some prospect that actually reply to you and say, hey, Kenny, I look forward to working together with you. That kind of message really gives you hope and motivation. There are some buyers out there that, they want to work with the agents. Not all buyers want to work with listing agents, but some buyers willing to have their own agent and not work with listing agents. So this is your opportunity. Okay.